Hey everyone, welcome back. Yeah, need to fluff my fur a little bit. Anyway, today we're tackling the floor pan. But before we can tackle the floor pan, we need to take care of the cross members, get them all cleaned up. I also need to take care of the package tray back there. Need to do a few repairs to it as well. Take these reinforcements out here so that we can clean and remove that, sheet metal there and clean it up and get it, rust proof, or, do whatever we can to clean it up, the pitting, put in some rust neutralization stuff, and then top coat it right with some paint and try to primer and, protect it best we can. So when we weld in the new floor pan, that'll be good. And then I got some pieces I need to weld onto the floor pan. Basically the pieces, where are they? These guys, right? So we can bolt stuff down. And this guy, right? So clip in the back seat. So I'll need to do a few things like that. So anyway, guys, first thing is I'll flip it around, show you what the cross members look like. And kind of show you real quick. So just real fast, guys, so I'm going to grab the good old wire wheel, wire wheel this out as best I can with the respirator on, all the rust dust. I'll have this running, to help draw in a lot of the dust and that as well. And then this is what I was talking about. You need to remove the bracing and somehow brace it a little different. At least we've got the side panels in now, so that it give more sturdy. And then I got to remove all that there on top so we can get, in the channel, clean up the rust and then do the, the rust neutralization, and then we can, paint and stuff in there. So guys, there is so much debris buried down, under here. I tried to just take a shot back and just try to suck it out. It didn't work. So, good old air compressor. Hit it with a air hose here. Stuck that sucker down in there and blew all that crap out there. As well as everything you see on the floor down there. You may not be able to see it, but all that crap right there blew out of this one channel right here by just kind of sticking it down there, working it back and forth and getting it all out. So that's just a little tip on how you can get some of that garbage out. All right, guys, so just a little update. I ran the rust reformer in the middle. I ran some weld through primer on the outside. Obviously some got on the middle, but I'm going to top coat the middle here tomorrow. Got this all cleaned out now. Run the rust reformer on there. I'll let that dry good. Tomorrow, maybe at around lunch, I'll throw some welding primer on it, and then tomorrow night, top coat it and top coat these two. What I'm going to do now is take a little break and then come back and work on the package tray. I need to fix a couple of small areas. And then I need to bring the floor pan in here somewhere and start putting, things like this in that are not in the floor pan. And then I need to cut that up so I can use that as part of the floor pan. So we are getting real close, guys, to putting in floor pan. I got to do a little hammer dolly work on the hump there, make it a little smoother. And then, probably not today. I don't know. We'll see how today goes, but maybe set the floor pan in place. Take a Sharpie underneath and just kind of go around where I need to, where the cross members are and where I need to drill some holes. So that's kind of where we're at on the floor pan. The other thing I want to do is get under there and underneath the cross members, clean them up more, the rust and stuff, you know, scale, previous paint that was under there, see if I can get those a little bit more cleaned up as well. All right, guys, so starting to work on the floor pan here to get ready to go in. Some things we need to do, right, is put these in. But the one thing is, if you notice, this is a lot bigger than that stamping. So if you put it on the backside, right, and you're supposed to weld it on the backside so this sticks through, well, it's nowhere near going to be flush to this where I need to do some plug welds. This one here, you know, not a problem, right? We can stick it there, we'll drill the hole out, we'll, you know, drill a couple holes so then we can do, you know, 3 plug welds on each side of this opening. So what I had to do, or what I decided to do, was take 2 of these. Here's an original, right? Here's the other that I shortened. Basically, I took 1/4 inch off either side, TIG welded them all back up. We'll grind those nice and smooth and clean them up. Put some weld through primer on it, as well as on the floor pan, and then we'll, you know, do some plug welds on this as well. So that's what we're up to. So I'll take a few pictures as we go along on the progress. All right, guys, so as you saw, you can see the smoke still coming up, right? We got all those welded in, you know, for the seat belts there. We got the seat holder welded in. It came with these front ones already welded in. What I need to do next is cut this flange down. So it's around, I think it was 58.5 inches, something like that. I'll have to remeasure to make sure, but basically, you know, you can see the flange change over here. I got to trim it somewhere in this area on both sides. And then come over here, just grind anything down that I need to, wire wheel this up real good, spray the weldable primer all along these seams on both sides, and then we can set the floor pan in here, do a little trial fit, and then, you know, like underneath, take a Sharpie and outline, you know, the cross members so that I can like slide it back and then drill a bunch of holes so then we can slide it back forward and then plug weld it in. That's what we got next to do, but that will be for another night because it is late on a Tuesday night, I guess. And you know, to keep peace with the neighbors, got to keep it a little bit quiet. So anyway, we'll come back tomorrow, do a little bit more work, do a little test fit, and then I got to stop because I am going to be on vacation for a week and a half. So we won't be making much progress. All right, guys, so we're attempting to put the floor pan in. Originally, I was going to come right through the doorway there and just try to turn it right and then bring it back forward and plop it in. My wife's like, hey, let's move all this. I shouldn't say all of it. It wasn't too hard to move. And then we brought it under the car in that opening, moved it back. We got to go back a little further. Then we're going to try to raise it up and then slide it forward, and hopefully it'll fit. All right, guys, coming up through here was definitely a good idea. Unfortunately, what's going on is, you know, this front flange is too wide, and you can see it right sitting right there. All the bolt holes are kind of misaligned on, you know, either we can make one side or not the other side fit. You know, if we push it up, right, then it's over that lip and then it doesn't sit down in the things, you know. So I need to trim that front end because it's also off on the cross members. So we got to do a little fitment and stuff here in a little bit when I get back from vacation, and then get this to fit, and then we can get this all welded up, put in the wheel tubs, and then when I get my back ordered brace, pieces here, so I can weld in those back braces, then I can put that in, and that'll help stiffen up this whole body a lot. And then we'll transition over to the frame and get the frame all painted, assembled and everything, so we can put it back under the body. So then we can do all this trunk work that we got to do, get the trunk work all done, and then we can tackle that thing, the roof. All right, guys, so we are back on the GTO after a couple of weeks off, going to Hot Rod Drag Week, cousin's daughter's wedding. So now, got the floor pan in here, as you saw earlier, and I needed to trim this front edge up. It was basically hitting this lip, and so, I moved it forward a little bit. And then I was like, man, I got to stop and I got to check these wheel houses to make sure, I don't move this too far forward, and keep trying to get these holes to line up with the actual cross members. And of course they don't. So we'll show you the holes here in a second. And I test fitted the wheel houses, and I'll drop in a few pictures here of, them all clamped up, and you can see the nice big gaps right now, but we will get those all, a lot more clamps on there in the future, get some of the coating, removed, do weld through primer, and then when we weld all that up, then we'll seam seal up real good as well. But that's another video. So you can see this hole, how much we've got to kind of open this up. You can see here, these just a little bit on this side. This one, just a hair. I'm just going to clearance it just a little. You can see that one? Yeah, a lot. We'll go to the other side, because what we're going to have to do is, I'm going to have to drill holes, every couple inches here. And by the way, this actually lines up with the bolt. So this lines up, and so does the other side. But every 2 inches, I'm going to drill 3/8 inch holes, or 2.5 inches or so. And so we can, plug weld this to the rocker. So we've got a nice weld, and then I've got to drill all the holes going across. There's 3 cross members here that we'll have to drill out, and then this front edge as well. So let me go show you the other side holes, and then, then we'll just start drilling away, because I'm happy with the fit of the rear wheel houses. That whole couple holes you see, I thought were spot welds. They were not. So what I need to do is I need to take that panel apart, and I need to just set it on there and clamp it up just to see how it'll fit from that shelf standpoint, just to make sure, I don't have to do anything else. And then, we'll just take that shelf off and I'll put it on later. The key I want to get done in this video is get this wheel house, or the floor pan, welded in, and the wheel houses welded in. Now, if you look at this side, guys, this side hole is like way off. So we got to definitely, do a whole lot more till there. If you notice here, it's way off. There's the hole way up there. You can see these are also way off compared to where the hole is at. Here's what I got to do to get that one so I can do the seat, brake, or the seat bolt. But otherwise, she's not too shabby. Like, again, I just got to drill a lot of holes, and we'll be doing a lot of plug welding. Because what I want to do is, once I get these all wallered out, if you will, I want to take some bolts and bolt this, really run this down tight to these cross members. So that way I can mark them underneath, and then lift this whole panel up and slide it. So then I can drill little 1/8 inch bit pilot holes from underneath for these 3 cross members, and then I'll come from the top side and bring them out to 3/8 of an inch. and drill them all out from the top instead of getting metal shavings all over my face. So that is where we stand. All right, guys, so this is the rear deck lid, rear deck, if you will, that goes onto the floor pan. And then down here, right, is where the trunk ties into it. So what I had to do is basically these pieces, these braces were, like this. And there was a panel here that I cut off. And then there's also where the panel, attached to the bottom side of this, there's actually a brace here. And then this top deck, welds to this brace. And then underneath, the floor pan, welds to this. So what I'll need to do is drill some holes every few inches here, somehow clamp it up. So then I can plug weld all this. And then this, welds to the wheel houses. So these braces I need. So I can attach to the floor pan. However, these braces are not in very good shape at all. They're garbage. There's a ton of debris that sat down in there, and all that debris, rotted these out. There's tons of pinholes and stuff. So I ordered a pair of these from OGPI, and they are in back order, so I gotta wait till these come in, but I need these braces. So at some point I will, drill these braces out and keep these. So I just wanted to show you that we got this ready, and I'm gonna go test fit this in to the floor pan over here. Because like I mentioned, it basically goes, set these down, it sets right on that lip and then goes back, and basically I weld the wheel houses there to that piece on the sides. And then, the floor pans, like I said, I'll mate those floor pans up to that piece as well. So I'm just going to set it in there. I just want to do a little test fit to see how things are looking in this floor pan before I just start drilling all these holes out and, welding it in for good. So now's the time to fit this stuff up. All right, guys, if you notice, get the package tray kind of set in place, because again, I'm just checking fitment, before I start putting this in permanent. It's a whole lot easier to massage if I need to. Don't worry about seeing those holes and stuff. Once I clamp all that tight and weld it up, seam sealer, she'll be perfect. But what's really good is I'll go around to the back side is, you remember these wheel houses I pulled out of the donor car, okay? And this package tray, or this upper deck piece, is also from that donor car. And when I go to the back of the car, you'll see that these line up really nice. Where you can see, now let me go around to the other car and you'll see what I mean about how well that fits. Look at my mess. Don't look, don't look, don't look. Don't look. But here's what I'm talking about. If you notice right through here and where that starts to drop down, it really lines up a little better on this side, a little massaging to do on that side. But you know what, guys, once we weld that up again, seam seal and put in these new trunk pieces, and I'm waiting on back order pieces for the side pieces there to attach the quarter, and then these will attach to that piece and this, and anyway, that'll be a whole nother video. But yeah, I'm really happy with how those kind of match up there. Again, I've just got them clamped in. Once we get all that clamped up, all that welded up, I'll check it from the wheelhouse side and all that. But man, I'm really happy with how the fitment is turning out so far of all of this. So now what I think I can do is crawl under the car. Actually, what I think I'm going to do is start to waller all these holes out, and then I can run these bolts down and pull that tight down to the cross members, in these few areas. Then I'll take my Sharpie underneath, start, lining out where I need to drill, and then slide this back, take all that out, start drilling all the holes out, and set this back in place and start welding it all up. I'll mark a couple like spots here and here and here and here, as alignment spots on both sides, so that way I know exactly where to put this back, so all that lines up too. All right, guys, so I don't know how many holes I freaking drilled, but you can see the hump there. Here is this one. Here's that one. There's that one all drilled out. Both the rails here are all drilled out. You know, all these things are all done. What I need to do though in a few areas and a few of these is go underneath, because you can feel the very rough edge and it's kind of sticking out, you know, so it won't stick flush here. So I just need to go underneath, lift this up, kind of slide it back and see what I can do to clean up some of those. And then I have a couple of the cross members I just need to clean up a little bit more. A couple of them are bent and I just need to, you know, tweak them up a little. And then we can slide this all back. Oh, and I gotta fix the hump there because it's in a couple spots. I need to do a little fixing so that hump will fit better. And then we'll see how well this fits up. Because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start, when I start welding, I'm gonna start in the middle here, you know, do the middle. And then I'll work my way, you know, start working my way this way and then work my way that way and then work my way this way and that way. You know, I'm not going to do like all of them here and then, you know, none over there. So I'll, like I said, I want to start in the middle and then, you know, come in a couple, come in a couple, come in a couple, go to that side, do a couple, do a couple, do a couple, and just work my way back and forth, you know, so this edge will be last. And the reason I want to do this edge last is, you know, if I go to the middle then and it starts to buckle because I welded the middle and the edge, you know, then, you know, the center could buckle up and I might not be able to get that sit nice and tight to the cross member when I weld it up, which was what I want. So that's where we're at. All right, guys, you can see we've got a ton of holes here. Everything's all drilled out. You can see, you know, the rail here, all the cross members. So one thing if you'll kind of notice here, you know, there's a big gap, right, from the cross member to the floor pan, and then she's nice and tight here, for example. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my floor jack, and then, because these two here are pretty flimsy, you know, until they get all welded up right, and then they're a whole lot more rigid, and that one's, you know, real rigid. I'm going to take my floor jack, just gently push up on, you know, these cross members here, or these braces, whatever, and then get them nice and tight to the floor pan, you know, and then we'll weld them up. So I'm going to start with the hump here first, then I'm going to come and do these four, come and do these four, come back here and do these four, and then kind of do a couple here, do a couple here, couple there, you know, couple there, couple here. You get the idea, and then work my way from side, you know, to side, and then finally this outer edge, buzz it up, and you know, that way we don't, hopefully don't get any buckling, anything like that going on, that we have a nice smooth weld, and then I can push and pry a little bit and get it all to fit well. And then once all that's done, we'll have to do just a little bit of grinding, hopefully not much. Then we can stick in the wheel houses and that back brace there. All right, guys, so we're getting this welded up. You can see, you know, we've got some of the front there and just a little here. I've got the top there welded up. I'm working my way this way a little bit. One of the things, you know, I'm running into, which, you know, is not everything, right? This doesn't just sit on there nice and flat, and, you know, the brace is nice and flat and everything sucks up really good and you can just weld it. You know, so we're having to use some creativity. Block of wood, beat it. You see we got the jack under there pushing up on this back lip right here, so it sucks up, and then I just kind of, you know, took a hammer and just kind of beat it down just a hair just to get it flush. It wasn't much at all. I mean, we're talking like a 1/16 of an inch that I had to massage it. And then I'm going to come to this front lip here, do the same thing with the jack, push up on this corner. You know, we'll probably have to massage it a little bit and get it to fit, but the key is, you know, we're getting these all flat. You know, we're not having big gaps that we're welding up. So this floor, you know, is actually turning out really nice. Well, guys, it is in, all welded up. I'm really happy with the way it turned out. I'll show you a couple pictures on the bottom side. I was able to get, you know, this whole thing real tight to all these cross members, you know, up to here even. So when we go to seam seal it, you know, we're just seam sealing the seam, not massive gaps. So we'll seam seal along the edge here on the top and bottom side, you know, here, you know, top and bottom side. You know, the cross members we won't. I mean, I painted the inside of them. I painted the bottom side of these and everything. So they should all be good. So I'm really, really happy the way this turned out. Yeah, let me just, like I said, take a couple pictures and I'll show you how tight, you know, it turned out. And then next, we can now pop in the wheel houses and that shelf, if you will. And that'll be it for this video. I figured I'd take a little video instead, but you can see nice and tight, you know, nice and tight. Look over there, nice and tight, you know, there you go. Nice and tight to here. So, you know, that well-through primer and stuff. What I may go ahead and do is, you know, since I've got the holes there, take the wand and spray up in there with some black paint, you know, now over the primer and everything, now that we've got it all welded up. And, you know, just kind of fill that up a little better. So we'll take a little brush and kind of clean, you know, those where there's the burn mark, if you will. Clean that up, you know, before we do final paint and everything. But yeah, I'm really happy with this. All right, guys, so I ran into a little bit of a snag. So this is one of the trunk pieces, and when I set my wheelhouse in here, you know, it contours, you know, pretty decent. The problem is not knowing this other piece, right, that goes right here, and how it kind of comes down and does whatever it does, because, you know, my car didn't have it, and the other car was so rusted out, I couldn't tell what was there. The part I need that goes here, right, that this sits on top of, right, it goes underneath here, and this flange sits on top of it, is on back order. So it's been on back order for like 2 months now. So I am going to wait and not put in my wheel houses just yet. So we're going to wait on putting in the wheel houses until I need the other panel of this, which should be coming in a week or so, hopefully. For the right side over there, that part is on back order. And then that piece I'm talking about goes right there, you know, and it was hacked off and, you know, missing. So I don't know exactly how all this kind of comes together with the wheelhouse in here. So we're going to wait. So that kind of wraps up this video, is basically what I'm saying. We got the floor pan in, good deal. We got the wheelhouses fit, you know, but I don't know how they fit back, you know, in that area in the back there. They fit real good here. So, I mean, I'm comfortable with where we're at. So that's where we're going to stop this video. So guys, you know, I got several parts on back order. I think I've got like 6 things on back order that I've been waiting for a couple months now. So hopefully they'll come in soon. So with that said, what we're going to do now is we're going to transition over to the frame. Yes, I do need to do a few other repairs yet on the body shell. You know, there's some other rust areas and things, but I'm going to switch over, take a little break from the body, come over to the frame. We're going to sandblast some of the suspension parts, repaint them and stuff. I'm going to powder coat some of the brake components from the 69 Chevelle that I bought at a swap meet. I'll show that in the next video. But anyway, we're going to transition over to the frame now and start getting that painted and ready so then we can put it underneath the body. So then when I get my trunk parts and everything, you know, I can put the body on the frame, and then so it's, you know, relatively square. And then I can finish the trunk and all that, make the whole solid floor, you know, the whole bottom of the car nice and solid and rigid. So then we can tackle, yeah, the roof, because that's going to be fun. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. See you guys all in the next upload.